Good morning and welcome everyone. I'm Constable James Dixon and I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time this morning to attend our headquarters to attend this press conference to highlight the results of Project Chatter. Please allow me to introduce the participants this morning. To my immediate left, we have the Deputy Chief of Investigations, Alvaro Almeida, and he will be highlighting the Project Chatter and the impact that both drugs and guns have on our community. Beside him is Detective Sergeant Sean Whitaker of our Guns, Gangs, and Drugs Enforcement Unit, and he will be speaking in more detail about the work of his team and the results of this project. Additionally, we're very pleased to have Deputy Director of the Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario, David Carrera, in attendance. At this time, I will now turn the microphone over to the Deputy. Thank you.
When we discuss Project Chatter today, I want one number to be very important to those that are watching today and to think long and hard about, and that number is 700,000. That is how many doses of fentanyl that were seized as a result of Project Chatter, a firearms and illegal drugs trafficking investigation that began in the city of Richmond Hill. Good morning. My name is Alvaro Almeida. I am the Deputy in charge of investigations here at York Regional Police. I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today to our headquarters to discuss the results of Project Chatter. And a special thanks to Deputy Director David Carrera, who joins us here today from the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario. It is with the support of CISO that made Project Chatter possible, through funding from the Ontario government and the Ministry of the Solicitor General. 700,000. That number best paints the picture of the amount of dangerous, potentially lethal drugs that were taken off our streets as a result of this investigation. For me, it puts into perspective all the work that we do here at York Regional Police to fight the trade of illegal drugs and guns, and why we must continue our fight against these organized crime groups to keep our community safe. Investigations like Project Chatter, when combined with the preventative measures and addiction services provided by public health and the municipalities across York Region, save lives. And as police leaders, it makes me extremely proud of the dedication of our officers and staff to this work. We're also grateful for our partnerships with the Peel Regional Police, the Toronto Police Service, who assisted in the execution of 15 warrants and resulting in the arrest of 23 individuals who are now facing over 300 charges. An investigation of this scale requires the commitment and coordination of law enforcement agencies across the Greater Toronto Area. And these partnerships continue to pay off in the form of safer communities. Along with a significant amount of cocaine, fentanyl, methamphetamines, and other illicit drugs, this investigation also produced illegal firearms that you see here today. 32. 32 is another number that I want people to think about. 32 illegal firearms that were taken off the streets, and of the 24 that we've received tracing information back so far, 23 come back as originating in the United States of America, with one from here in Canada domestically. These weapons were not intended only for the protection of the trade of this criminal network, but also would have ended up in the hands of individuals committing shootings, carjackings, and other violent crimes in our region. This is a twofold impact on the community. On one hand, these individuals preyed on people within our region who have been victimized by addiction and the opioid crisis that has plagued our country and our community. And on the other hand, the trafficking of firearms leads to violent crimes that traumatize the victims and leave our community feeling unsafe in their homes, in their vehicles, and in their workplaces. Today, our community can take solace in the fact that it is a safer place as a result of this investigation. And rest assured, every day, that the members of York Regional Police are committed to disrupting and dismantling these organized crime groups. And we will deploy all resources available to us to remove illegal guns and illegal drugs from our streets and bring traffickers to justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy. I'll now call Detective Sergeant Sean Whitaker to speak.
Good morning. I'd like to echo the remarks made by Deputy Almeida. The success of these long-term, high-impact investigations are a direct result of the strong partnerships we maintain with law enforcement agencies across the Greater Toronto Area. These collaborative relationships are essential, and York Regional Police remains committed to building and strengthening these alliances to combat organized crime and ensure the safety of our communities. In October 2024, our Guns, Gangs, and Drug Enforcement Unit launched Project Chatter, a complex and extensive investigation into the activities of a male known as Bogdan Butin. Intelligence gathered by our investigators indicated that Butin was a key player in the trafficking of controlled substances throughout the GTA. As the investigation progressed, officers uncovered a sophisticated criminal network responsible for distributing large quantities of both raw and street-ready fentanyl, as well as firearms across the region. Recognizing the threat that this posed, an internal task force dubbed Project Chatter was established to aggressively target and dismantle this network. Project Chatter uncovered a network that was highly organized and well-equipped. Our investigators identified key suppliers, distribution hubs, and locations believed to be cooking or cutting fentanyl for street-level sale. These operations were primarily based in the city of Richmond Hill, but had reached throughout the GTA. On May 4th, 2025, a series of coordinated search warrants and arrests were executed across the GTA. This large-scale operation involved more than 200 officers from York Regional Police, Peel Regional Police, the Toronto Police Service, and other partner agencies. In total, 15 search warrants were executed. To date, 23 individuals have been arrested and face a combined total of 330 criminal charges. As a result of these efforts, the following items have been seized: 32 illegal firearms, including 31 handguns and 1 assault-style rifle, 15 kilograms of fentanyl, 2 kilograms of cocaine, 12 kilograms of dried cannabis, 247 grams of ketamine, 38 grams of methamphetamine, 86 grams of psilocybin, $136,000 in Canadian currency, $18,000 in US currency, and 3 luxury Rolex watches. In relation to the firearms seized in this investigation, the majority have been confirmed that they were smuggled into Canada from the United States. We believe these weapons were destined for individuals on committing acts of violence, including shootings, carjackings, and robberies. The fentanyl recovered in this investigation has been categorized into raw and street-ready forms. Raw fentanyl is an extremely potent substance, often mixed with cutting agents such as xylazine and caffeine to produce street-level doses. Just 1 kilogram of raw fentanyl can produce approximately 10 kilograms of street-ready fentanyl. In this investigation, we seized 7 kilograms of raw fentanyl. In total, the amount of fentanyl seized in this investigation equates to over 700,000 potential street doses, with an estimated street value of more than $7 million. The amount represents a devastating toll in lives lost, but by taking it off the streets, we believe we have saved countless lives. These type of investigations are not just about seizing drugs or arresting individuals. They are also about preventing overdoses. They are also about stopping gun violence, and they are about making our community safer for everyone. This operation has not only disrupted a dangerous criminal network, it has undoubtedly prevented future tragedies. York Regional Police is fully committed to continuing the fight against the criminal organizations that seek to profit from the suffering of others. We will continue to pursue those who traffic in deadly substances and illegal firearms with the full force of the law. Our community members deserve to live in neighborhoods free from the fear of gun violence or the devastation caused by opioids. We recognize the deep and lasting impact that guns, drugs have on families, and we are determined to be a part of the solution. Finally, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the men and women who worked Project Chatter. Over the last 7 months, these officers have demonstrated incredible resolve. They have worked long hours, sacrificed time away from their families, and showed an unwavering dedication to this mission. Their professionalism and perseverance were critical to the success of this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll now open the floor to Q&A. Please attend the microphone, state your name, your media outlet, and advise who the question is directed at. At this time, we ask you that you please keep your questions to one with one follow-up, and additional questions can be conducted afterwards during the one-on-one interviews. Thank you.
Good morning, Momin Qureshi, 680 News Radio. This is clearly a lot of stuff you guys have seized. I wonder if you could just put into context what kind of a dent this has made into the criminals that were doing this, into the operations and people who are looking to get this stuff on the street.
Well, it's very difficult to quantify that given the number of doses that are here and the firearms that you see before you. What I can tell you is even last week, there was a significant seizure made by our members up in 3 District that also was in roughly the size in terms of the number of guns that were taken off the street. The reality is that as we are taking these guns off the street, they're flowing through the border. So in terms of what impact it's making, I can tell you that we took 32 guns off the street, and there's potentially the 32 less incidents that we're going to be dealing with. However, as we know, that these guns can be used in multiple offenses. So to even begin to answer that in terms of quantity, I can't, but I can tell you this is a significant seizure in any jurisdiction in this country.
Just as a follow-up, I know we were here last week for a bus that was made in Georgina. We're here this week. It was kind of a similar spread.
Yep.
How much, for the public, how much of an issue is this, and how aware do people need to be that this stuff is happening in their community?
Thank you. It's a massive issue, and so much so that both firearms and fentanyl are key priorities, both nationally, provincially, and here in York Region. And thus, as evidenced by the work that our fine members have been contributing over the last number of months, the strategy has always been to target violent crime. And we know that fentanyl use and the opioid crisis has fueled the incidence of violence within our streets through other violent crimes. But when you add the component of firearms mixed in, these are all lethal doses that are on the table here, whether it's a gun or it's a fentanyl dose, all equally deadly. And I can tell you that last year we had over 89 overdoses reported, because we have some that we don't know about, given naloxone treatments, so on and so forth. But of those 89 reported, 29 resulted in fatalities. So 1 in 3 overdoses in our books equates to a homicide.
I'm Jeremy Grimaldi from Metroland. I was just sort of wondering, I know it may be difficult to tell, but the fentanyl, you said it was being cooked in Richmond Hill. Where is it coming from, or where are the ingredients coming from? Is there any indication in this investigation or any other investigation? Is it inside Canada? Is it from other countries? Is it coming over the border? Do you know anything about that?
So in regards to the fentanyl, the investigation is still ongoing. At this time, we're not sure exactly where the fentanyl is coming from, but they obviously come from source countries, that import it, but we have no evidence right now to suggest where it exactly is coming from.
What are the source countries?
Source countries would be Mexico, and then other countries where the precursors are produced.
Is China a source country?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. And I was also wondering, do you have any indication? Oh.
Yes, of course, we know that precursors are coming from China.
Do you believe that this investigation or any other investigation that it's coming from Mexico or China? Do you have any links to either of these places?
So to answer your question, no, not in this investigation. Right, we can't tell, and as the detective sergeant indicated, to draw those connections requires an analysis to be conducted. And currently in our province, we are working very diligently with an Ontario Drug Identification Network that's hosted by the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario. And much more resources is needed to help us in order to determine where the sources of these precursors and the actual fentanyl is actually, when you look at what elements are in various samples to connect the dots. And you would have heard yesterday that there was legislation that was passed in relation to some border integrity legislative changes that will assist us in that regard. So I think there's more to come on that, but I think we all can recognize that Canada is not specifically a source country for fentanyl, although it can be produced here, but the precursors do not originate in this country.
Thank you. I was just also wondering if you have any indication how many of these guys have received bail, or if any of them have.
Well, of those that have been arrested, 7 remain in custody. I believe there's 9 that have been released on various conditions, and there are a number that are still outstanding.
You mean you're still searching for others involved?
Right.
How many are outstanding, do you know?
3 that I'm aware of.
Are there warrants for them? Or
Yes.
Can we, I'll get those names after.
Yeah, there's a charge list available.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, just a couple of quick follow-ups too. One is, are any of the people who are arrested and charged here repeat offenders, and how much does this fall into any potential need for bail reform?
Yes, a number of individuals at the time were on conditions and were on bail at the time of the offenses that are being committed.
So is this further the need maybe for the conversation for bail reform?
Yes, any help that we can get on bail reform, absolutely we would take.
And just, there's, as you know, a lot of rhetoric that a big supply of fentanyl is coming from Canada to the United States. A, was any of this destined for the States as far as you know? And B, there is a problem of guns coming from the States to us. So how much of an issue is that with what you guys deal with?
So the fentanyl, we have no information to suggest that the fentanyl was going into the United States. The guns absolutely are coming from the United States and are continuing to be a problem for us.
And, just in relation to bail reform, I think you've heard many of my colleagues advocating for changes. As we know, changes upstream take time, but I think it's through stories like this, the continuous reporting on violent crime within the GTA, within Canada, that illuminates the fact that we need to take bail reform seriously. We talk about it on one hand, but on the other side, it seems to be not quite at the stage where the gravity of the situation has been understood. Thank you.
So that will conclude our presentation of Project Chatter. Please speak with Media Relations Officer Lisa Muskaluk, Kevin Umbria, or myself afterwards to facilitate any one-on-one interviews. Thank you very much.